Hey guys, welcome to this week's Restoration Revelations. I have actually been looking forward to this week for quite a while. The reason is I'm going to actually have two of the builds that we are building and we've been working on for a while on the street, running, driving, tuning. I'm building a bypass exhaust system to make it sound completely crazy. I'm building a cold air induction system that goes under the hood to get cold air like the cowl hoods of yesterday, man. That's a really cool stuff that we're building. Come on. Check it out. Like, subscribe, follow along. We even got one of my guys cooking lunch for all of us here. 100 degrees out, and he's going to be making a stroganoff. Whatever. He's a character, but we're having some fun. Follow along, like, subscribe. Come for a ride with me, Harry, at Studio Hotrods Restoration Revelations. Let's go. Man, it's just a cool car. Wait till you see what I'm going to do to it. It ain't even fast yet, baby. Look, it's like a merry-go-round. Little turntable under there, and then you can scan it, but it stays in one position and end up with a file that looks like this. And why are we doing that? That's a C7 air filter. Goes actually in front of like the radiator on a Corvette, and it's actually kind of balanced within all its three motors. So what we're doing is just taking some of the OEM components, and we're gonna make our own air box on our Chevelle. It's got the Corvette engine. Why not have the Corvette air filter? Makes sense. Good logic. Made by K&N, so it's a little bit more high performance, but now that the scan's done, we can start the design. I asked Kyle if he could find the drawings that I made him this morning. And what is it right there?
Good finished.
Anyways, there's an upper and a lower. Part of the control box is going to go in the inner fender well. That will hopefully all happen this week, and I'll get to share that with you as part of the episode. Cold air is good. Can't stand on the Alice motors how they all have that thing and they just hang off the side of it. You run a little filter on it. It looks terrible. Anyways, this is a cool design where we're actually going to put this together. And what I realized after we printed this is I need a mass airflow sensor in here. Do you have one of those, Scott?
I'll get one from Pete.
Okay. Yeah. So anyways, and we're going to check orientation and airflow. But I need a mass airflow sensor. I can tell you already. I'm also going to put a vacuum port. So just put two blocks, maybe. Put the mass airflow sensor as close to the straight pipe as you can. Very important that you don't disturb the airflow because the computer needs to know how much air is actually running through there. So you got to keep it like in this area here. So keep it right here tight to this one. But it's close. And this is printed out of something called PLA, which is lactic acid.
Polylactic acid.
Polylactic acid, PLA. Anyways, when we do this, we actually have to print this in ABS. ABS is temperature, a lot more temperature compliant for what's going to happen inside this car. But anyways, this bad boy just kind of, oh, by the way, C7 air filter, I wanted to match that to the engine. Makes sense, right? Again, GM is not dumb, so why would I not? This is actually a K&N filter. So I'm actually going to be selling these. How cool would that be? If you got an A-body or other configurations, I think it makes sense if I can get it to work right on ours. Anyways, this bad boy just kind of slides in here. It's got a mounting hole. Boom. There's a mounting hole there. This is a problem too. We're gonna have to, because of the way the mounting screws are, why don't you just make another one of these ears that goes down to this area here. This is good though. Anyways, put a clamp here, we'll put a clamp here, clamp here, clamp here, clamp here, and the two mounting bolts. And then we're gonna go ahead and here's one other thing, Kyle, we haven't done yet. I gotta pop a couple holes in here, Kyle. Right below the filter. Why? Because we're gonna make a cold air induction scoop that'll mount on from the bottom of the car. So work on the modification of this design, plus I want these ribs fatter.
Okay.
You know what I mean? This is called an exoskeleton, and what that's there for is because this is all under vacuum, what you want to do is make sure that the thing can't crush. Vacuum is really, really powerful. Anything that you think I'm not seeing, or?
I think the logos need to be just SHR because there's too much detail for ABS there.
Come on, Alan. Equipment limitations. Yeah, it'll be good. Anyways, let's get started to the design on that. I'll work on putting the holes in here to get you prepped up, so when you come back and you get that stuff printing, I'll show you, I'll do a sketch and I'll show you exactly what I kind of want for the fresh air induction. We don't want water going in the engine, that's for sure, but cool air is definitely very cool. The cool air induction system, like right down here, we were actually gonna take out like the marker light, and then I'm like, I don't wanna make a marker light, it sounds like too much grief. So we're gonna go old school, below the bumper, so it's not really, you don't really see it's gonna be black, kind of hidden, and that will induct the air, the cold air, into that LS3 motor. Let's go eat, you know? Talking about getting cold air in the system, let's go get a nice ice cold milkshake. And he's making stroganoff. This is gonna be interesting. G.I. Jeff, here he comes.
I might look insane, but typically I always do, so this is not new to me.
You're cooking us food?
Don't tell Harry. Always disconnect the battery before I go anywhere, because I just don't trust people.
You look like you're going fishing.
Oh yes. Two oignons, as Jean-Pierre would say. Then, get it back. Oh. I'm always clipping for the best deals. Need 2 of those. We have flour. I'm just gonna say no. I'd just rather get it just to be safe. Worcestershire sauce, we got the sour cream, we've got flour, we've got butter. I think that's it, and we just gotta get the strawberry sauce. Beautiful. And I know we'll be under budget. Oh yeah, we got everything we need. So what we have here is I have just coated some beautiful beef stew meat in some flour, so that way once I get this meat all nice and brown, then I'm gonna go ahead and get all my vegetables cooking, throw the meat back in, and that's when we get the sauce cooking. Dude, this is just the way to go. It's kind of like a soy sauce for steak, but it just pulls out all that natural flavor of the meat, and it pairs so well. Once you take the pepper skin off the meat oil, then you gotta cook the meat oil, and that's a good one. Now we're going to be starting the sauce process. We already got the meat cooked. Now we're going to get these onions nice and caramelized, almost translucent with the flavor of the onions and the butter. And then once that's ready to go, then we get the cream of mushroom soup going with the nice beef consomme. Throw that back in with the meat and just let this be friends with itself for a good hour. The best tasting beef stroganoff this side of the nut house. All right, so there's the cream of mushroom soup, onion, garlic, beef broth mix or beef consomme. And you add a nice helping of Worcestershire just for flavor. Ooh, we gotta get the sides going, so you gotta have some nice, almost burnt to a crisp asparagus, because that's when it's the best. Oh yeah, the final preparation is in order. Oh yeah. Nice and thick.
Ugh, I just finished Jeff's food. Want to hear a song?
At the hot rod shop on a blistering day, G.I. Jeff thought he'd try his hand at cooking away. Hooked up some beef stroganoff, come hell or high water, but believe you folks, it was tough as shoot.
Whoa. It was a good lunch. We like to have fun here at the Hot Rod Shop. And speaking of having fun, you know what we're gonna do next is we're gonna work on making that exhaust coming out of the back end of that car sound so cool. Come with me, you're gonna like this. This is cool, taking it to a whole new level. We're going to the lab. We're gonna be working on the Chevelle. Let's go, let's do it. Oh yeah. So I got a challenge. I love these exhausts. This is made by Valvetronics. Nice piece. When I buy a piece of equipment like this, you know, Murph, I'm looking at the details of the welding, and you can see that the way this thing was actually put together, it's pretty impressive. It's a good quality piece. Anyways, there's a butterfly inside of there that gets pulled with vacuum. You see it moving? Can you see that? So basically, the exhaust comes in here, goes up, goes back down around, and then comes out here, and see how nice and quiet? See how that works? You can't hear me at all when I'm talking. Muffler. But if I open this, you're gonna hear me right away. Anyways, but now what I gotta do is, when I bought it, I actually thought it was gonna be different. I thought the neutral position would be the bypass position, meaning it would be open. So when the vacuum, when you hit the gas in your car, The throttle goes on and it loses all of its vacuum. What I was hoping is when it lost vacuum, it would actually open this. But when I bought it, I didn't realize it works the other way. So what I got to do is I got to do the crisscross. I got a vacuum switch and a 3-way vacuum solenoid that I got Dave over there putting together as a prototype. I drew him a picture of what I wanted. I sent it to him in Chinese and he's figured it out. No. Anyways, we are going to put switches on the dashboard with 3 switches. First switch will be the trailer park mode, loud, fun, crazy. Sport mode, so when you actually throttle it on, you lose your vacuum. This thing pulls open and whoa, sounds like a new Corvette or a Ferrari or something really cool. And then you're going to have stealth mode. So if you're out late and you weren't supposed to be home, or you're sneaking home and your mom and dad are sleeping, just put in stealth mode and slide right back home. It's really, really quiet. We're going to test here a little bit. We'll add some vacuum, we'll add some power to it, and we'll actually see what vacuum rate is going to be generated on this prototype car. So I bought some new gauges, that kind of stuff, but we're going to actually mount them on the dash outside the window, stick them to the window. I'll put them on 2 different ports. There's 2 ports that I'm going to access in that car. One is a single port on the boreless stack fuel injection, and then one is a multi-port. So what I'm going to do is videotape it, run it, and I'm going to be able to watch how the vacuum changes, and then I can set the set points up when this opens and closes. I know, it's a lot of detail, but it's really, really cool. And again, GM does it in some of their cars. I've seen it in Porsches, in sport modes, in the Hellcats do it. It's fun, it's cool. It's gonna take a little bit of extra work. Anyways, this is right now in R&D. Oh yeah. And then once we apply vacuum, this vacuum comes back, goes back. Pretty cool, huh? So basically when you hit the gas pedal, you lose vacuum, as we're doing there. And it throws this trigger switch right here to that solenoid right there, opens these 2 gates to let your exhaust flow through. It's gonna be really cool. It's not all that sophisticated. It just looks like fun. Put the problem on the bench, the solution will present itself. I got a 3-way rocker coming in. It's gonna use these. I was like, what am I doing? I need a 3-way rocker. We're gonna have to put a box together and a configuration that holds this. It'll all mount in the tank. It'll be a very simple, clean look. Let's walk through this real quick. Now we're at a point where I figured out I need some more switches and a couple of little things to finish the job. But I got a couple of vacuum gauges that I mounted on the dashboard, or on the windshield. So one is connected here, which is my vacuum off of my single port off of the boiler fuel injection. So that never really has a check valve in it. So when we watch it inside, you'll see it bouncing like this. But I'm looking for a range about how much vacuum it can give me. Also, the second one is right here, which is a multi-port, which goes to my PVC. I always say PVC, like it's plastic, but it's PCB. Yeah, that's what it is. I need to think. My mouth moves faster than my brain. So this one is the multi-port that's actually running on all 8. So in general, it'll produce more vacuum, but not as high a vacuum because you're never actually closing a cylinder, so it's never really drawing that complete one. So believe it or not, one port coming off of this one actually has the potential to draw higher vacuum than the other, but what I got to do is I got to watch both circuits run, and that way when I install it, I'll exactly know where I'm going to set my gauges, because the tool that I bought, the vacuum pressure sensor that runs a solenoid, can be set to variable settings, but I wanted to at least have it pretty close before I even plumbed it in. What I'm doing is we're watching these gauges to see what range they're running at, and during acceleration, I got to be able to look at how much these things actually vary. You see this one's running about 10 PSI at idle, right? And there, you see how it dropped right there? I don't want the exhaust just to open right away. I got to get it under load to get it to do it. So you don't, like with a piece of equipment like this or something you're working on, you don't just throw it in and hope it's going to work. You measure what you treasure. And what I need is data. I need information, and my brain is hurting right now because this is not super easy. So I can definitely there. Okay. But right now it'll be off and then it will be back on. Okay. I can put it on this side and I can put it all the way down at 6. I'd be open right now. Throttle be open, throttle be open, throttle be open, throttle be closed. Okay. I might have to find a sensor that's actually a little bit more sensitive. I think the minimum I can do is 6 inches of mercury vacuum as a trigger point, but I'll go back to the bench with that real quick and I'll verify that before I put it together. I'm gonna put a trigger switch on the dash so I can put it in trailer park mode. Actually, I can do it with this little remote right now. A little better, huh? That's what it does sound like when I'm done with it. Anyways, so the next thing we're gonna do is we're gonna hop back to the shop. We're gonna get this thing back in a position where my tuner is coming out tonight at 5 o'clock, and we're gonna work on both of the cars. Both the orange Chevelles are gonna go through the drive tuning process. This will be the third tune on the Borla fuel injection, and will be the second tune on the, actually, technically the first tune on the 70 with the LS3. Tuning of today's world is different than the tuning of last year's world, right? Seat of the pants or a dyno tune, you know, we could do that stuff by ear, smell, all the rest of the things that go with it. Now you gotta have a laptop. Now you gotta be able to look at the details of what's going on. You can set the fuel trims, the timing, all that kind of stuff. So Tristan, a friend of mine, is gonna come with me. He's a great tuner, and we'll just take that thing out in the street and we'll just sniff it out and see how she does, and then we're gonna come back and we're gonna retune at 69. All right, Murph, we'll be back. Oh yeah, she's getting close now. I had to set the fuel trims. It was running a little bit fast, so we leaned it up and it smoked it. Man, that was good. Something is a little funky with brakes, maybe. Feeling a little bit soft. That's what you do. 15 miles on this Butte. 15 miles on this gem. All right, we're gonna go to car number 2. This one, you gotta see how she's doing. I'm gonna watch the vacuum too. I am. That's pretty cool. I want to see when he changes the timing, how much it affects it. Old school guys would use a vacuum gauge to set the timing of their car. We should do a short on that. There's a couple little itches and gitches and glitches. We got through and we stumbled a little here and there, but man, it is definitely running pretty epic. I think my temperature gauge is varying like 10, 15 degrees, which you just never do. It's 85 degrees out. It should be, it's warm. So I gotta hunt that down. That's what you do. Man, what a good day. I got to drive both of the Chevelles, both the Hugger Orange Chevelles. Got them tuned, they're running real nice. We gotta put some more miles on it. We gotta wiggle it out, we gotta figure it out. You got to drive them out. That's the way it goes before I deliver these guys. I actually drive them a bunch. We got about 750 miles on this one. I have loved every mile of it and never broke it down yet. That's kind of cool, right? Anyways, we're going to wrap up this week with something that is the most important part of every episode of Restoration Revelations. I'm going to ask you guys a question. Think about it, and then I'm going to give you the answer. Do you have a soul? That's the question. Now we're going to go for the answer. All right, guys, this is kind of like my favorite part of the Restoration Revelations. This is where the revelations all come together. The question I asked you before is, do you have a soul? Think about that for a second. Do you have a soul? There's a guy named C.S. Lewis. He was a very famous man, wrote children's books and stories. He did a lot of cool stuff. But anyways, he was a Christian theologian. Sorry. Anyways, there's something, a quote from him that he said that I thought was really cool. And he said, he was asked, do you have a soul? He goes, actually, you don't have a soul. And you go, huh? What do you mean I don't have a soul? He said, no, you are a soul, you have a body. And think about that for a second. We have a body, we got to take care of our body, right? But we also have a soul. Do you know in the Bible, it actually talks about having a soul 730 some odd times. I'm really close. Check me, fact check me if you want. So in Matthew 22, 37, you know, Jesus was talking, you know, with his disciples, those guys, the Sadducees, the Pharisees, they're all together. And they're trying to test him and figure out, their teacher, which is the greatest commandments in the law, right? And Jesus said this. I love it. When it's red letters in the Bible, that means Jesus said it. Love the Lord your God with all your heart, with all your soul, and with all your mind. Even Jesus said, you got a soul. So again, guys, thanks for liking, sharing, subscribing. Hang along. Actually, look at some of our shorts. We have some fun with our shorts. We got all kinds of crazy tech tips. If you guys have any questions about the Bible, where to get one, information about it, please send me a message. I will do my best to reply because this is the priority in life. Love the cars. Did you see the Cadillac, by the way? Anyways, this is this week's Restoration Revelations. Thanks for joining us. See you next week. Get a Bible. Big brother told you. All right, peace out. Love you guys.